On Global TV News Express, federal government begins 15-day emergency fuel supply. Man shot dead during fuel queue turmoil in Lagos. Federal government gives fresh condition for gas license. Federal government Labour talks deadlocked as NLC defends 615,000 naira demand. And fourth, Ronaldo's penalty remains in Saudi Pro League, but will resist Man United's transfer sale. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and other union leaders have rejected the President Bola Tinubu-led government's 35% pay rise for workers in the country. The NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajaero, stated this at an event to mark Workers' Day celebration. Edika Michael has details.
Details of the government statement have not been formally received by the NLC, saying the increment in the salary is for certain categories of workers in the public service.
We are already working together in every facet of the national minimum wage fixing process to ensure that better results are achieved, which will not only speak to the welfare of Nigerian workers, but will also assist the family business activities around the country.
Other union leaders who reacted to the development says the gesture should be extended to all the categories of civil servants.
That is not the minimum wage. I just need to correct that impression. The 25 to 35% increase in salary is an outstanding that has been there. You know, other companies in the health sector have benefited from it. So this comes to the workers at the federal level and also those who are in the paramilitary, like the army, the police, and those are the men because of it. So it's not a national minimum wage. The issue of national minimum wage is still ongoing. We've not even reached the conclusion yet. So it's also an added advantage to Nigerian workers, especially those at the federal.
We believe that the minimum wage is long overdue. The president and the committee must round up whatever they are doing within the month of May and ensure that this is signed into law and workers benefit. Workers are passing through difficult situations to get transportation to work to even survive. That is why we are saying survival wage must be paid.
Minimum is just the minimum. Now the discussion around the world and member countries of the ILO is that workers deserve a living wage. Living wage means look at all parameters that will be taken into consideration so that a worker and his family will be able to have a decent living with his wages for 30 days. Should be able to pay tariff, should be able to ride his car, should be able to pay school fees, should be able to have a decent living. That's what living wage entails.
We are disappointed that government up to today announced a minimum wage for Nigerian workers. The expectation was that as we come to workers, that we should be able to go home with the high hope of government announcing a minimum wage.
The first union association, please come forward, please. Let's move. The rest to follow suit, please.
To be able to announce minimum wage,
not
minimum, a living wage.
Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
The defense headquarters has formally admitted errors in the drone strikes on Tudumbiri community in Kaduna State, which killed scores of citizens, innocent citizens. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Edward Buba, who disclosed this today during a media briefing, said investigations have been concluded and the strikes considered a mistaken identity. The spokesman said those involved were going to face military court-martial. He, however, did not provide further details about the disciplinary measures, but said the two personnel will face military court-martial for their actions. Recall that the drone strikes took place on December 3rd, 2023, killing several non-combatants in Tudumbiri village of Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. As fuel scarcity continues to bite harder in different locations, the federal government says it has begun a 15-day emergency fuel supply to ensure the commodity circulates across the length and breadth of the country. The government also disclosed that vessels importing premium maltose spirit will continue to berth at the shore to discharge petrol to different depots, from where the products will be distributed to different filling stations. The Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, in a statement, said its members in Apapa and other locations in Lagos have been receiving 300 million litres of fuel from 8 vessels this week. This was after the Southwest Regional Coordinator of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Ayo Kadoso, confirmed that aside from the 240 million litres offloaded at various depots, close to 85 million litres of petrol were offloaded. The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream and Midstream has called on security agencies to pick up orders of premium maltose spirit, also known as petrol, as the scarcity of the product continues to challenge Nigerians nationwide. This is as the committee assures Nigerians that its findings reveal the availability of petrol, stressing that the logistical challenges that have made the product scarce are being addressed. Addressing a press conference at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja, the co-chair of the committee and chairman House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream, Ikenga Ugochinyere, said although there was enough petrol to service the country for about 30 days, the supply and distribution to marketers was disrupted by challenges of transport vessel. A young man, Tohib Enyasa, has been shot at a petrol filling station belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited at Obalende in the Ikoyi area of Lagos State. Enyasa was in the queue to get petrol when the incident happened. While in the queue, 2 men believed to be military officers attempted to drive into the station to buy petrol, even though they were not in the queue to get the product. This was met with stiff resistance from people in the queue, many of whom had been waiting for hours. Several eyewitnesses confirmed that Enyasa spearheaded the argument, telling the men to join the queue like everyone else. These further degenerated into a fisticuff and the eventual death of the young man after one of the men shot him and fled the scene. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has urged Nigerians to be wary of any candidate parading printed result slips, as currently the result is not in any paper format. JAMB spokesperson Dr. Fabian Benjamin, in a statement, said the information became necessary as some individuals were already circulating printed result slips on social media. Benjamin said, unlike last year, the results at the moment cannot be found on the JAMB's website. He said the board once again wishes to state clearly that the only way to check the 2024 UTME result is to send UTME results to 55019 or 66019 using the same phone used by the candidate in registering for the UTME and ensuring that the same is not on any bundle. The University of Abuja branch of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has begun an indefinite strike to draw attention to developments bothering the union. The union announced its decision to embark on the strike on Thursday at the end of its Congress held at the permanent site of the institution. Members of the Uni Abuja ASU have been at loggerheads with the outgoing Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abdulrasheed Naala, and the Minister of Education, Professor Tahi Maman, over the processes for the appointment of a new VC. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes, channel 276. Kindly follow us on our social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Express returns, federal government begins 15-day emergency fuel supply. This and other stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. On the foreign scene, the United States has accused Russia of deploying chemical weapons as a method of warfare in Ukraine, in violation of international laws banning their use. State Department officials said Russia used the choking agent chlorpyrifos to win battlefield gains over Ukraine. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, a global watchdog that oversees implementation of the CWC, says a chemical weapon is a substance used to cause intentional death or harm through its toxic properties. In business, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has increased the maximum coverage of all deposit-taking financial institutions across all levels. Managing Director of the NDIC, Hassan Bello, who made this announcement in Abuja, said the coverage has increased the maximum deposit insurance coverage of deposit money banks, DMBs, from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira, which will provide full coverage of 98.98% of the total depositors compared with the current cover of 89.20%. Bello said in terms of the value of deposit covered, the revised coverage would increase the value of deposits covered by deposit insurance to 25.37% compared with the current cover of 6.31% of total value of deposits. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission, in collaboration with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, are developing open banking frameworks in a move to deepen financial inclusion. The Commission revealed in a statement on X, formerly Twitter, that the purpose of the meeting was to discuss open banking frameworks for Nigeria, a project coordinated by the Gates Foundation. Open banking refers to the practice of providing third-party financial service providers with access to bank account information, transaction data, and other financial data through the use of application programming interfaces. The Nigerian Exchange Group says that it is working on plans to provide an online platform for public offers, as well as expand its footprint across the African continent. This was disclosed at the 63rd Annual General Meeting of the group, which was held recently in Lagos. The platform will also provide a smarter and efficient way for issuers to raise capital, enhance the subscription process and operational workflow of public offers in the capital market. The ongoing negotiations for a new minimum wage have deadlocked following the inability of the federal government and organized labor to reach a consensus on the issue. President Bola Tinubu gave this indication in his speech during this year's International Workers' Day celebration in Abuja. Also, the president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, faulted workers' insistence on the 615,000 naira minimum wage. He says the government and labor unions had not agreed on the amount for the minimum wage, but the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, defended workers' demand, insisting that the organized labor would not accept any amount that would impoverish its members. The Central Bank of Nigeria has again justified its reliance on the loan deposit ratio to control the country's rising inflation. The Apex Bank also said it is ready to do whatever it takes to reduce the inflation rate. The CBN's acting director of the Banking Supervision Department, Dr. Adetona Adedeji, disclosed CBN reduced the LDR of banks from the previous 65% to 50%, a move the regulators say would stabilize the economy. Federal government says it will stop granting licenses to gas companies with no capacity to build pipelines for gas distribution. This, the government say, became necessary to discourage the transportation of compressed natural gas through the roads. The Minister of State for Petroleum and Gas Ekberikpe Ekpo made this disclosure when he was in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Ekpo had visited Abeokuta for an on-the-spot assessment of Saturday's CNG explosion at Itaoshi. A CNG gas truck owned by Gasco Marine had suffered a brake failure, rammed into the road barricade, and went up in flames, killing one person and raising some vehicles. Ekpo, who was received into the state by Governor Dakwa Abiodun and his deputy, Noimot Salako Yedele, stated that he was sent by President Bola Tinubu to see the root cause of the incident and sympathize with the people of Ogun State. The federal government announced that it was set to issue a fully valid operating license to the 650,000 barrels per day capacity Dangote Petroleum Refinery. It announced this at the Stakeholders Consultation Forum on Midstream and Petroleum Host Community Development Trust Regulations, organized by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Abuja. The NMDPRA, an agency of the federal government, however, explained that though it had awarded a pre-commissioning license to the $20 billion refinery, a fully valid operating license will be issued to the Dangote refinery soon. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has disclosed that the federal government will pay 2.75 billion naira compensation to property owners affected by the demolition necessary for the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway spanning from Channel 0 to Channel 3. He revealed this information during a stakeholders meeting held in Lagos State. More compensation is expected to be paid in the coming days. In sports, Marcus Rashford will reportedly oppose any attempt by Man United to sell him this summer. Reports earlier this week claimed that United's entire squad is up for sale by Kobe Mino, Rasmus Højlund, and Alejandro Garnacho, with Rashford one of those at risk of being moved on. It comes as part of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's attempt to overhaul United and restore them to their former glories after another difficult campaign. The 26-year-old, who is valued at €80 million, will defy United if they try to move him on. The report goes on to claim Rashford is happy in Manchester and is not keen on a transfer away from his boyhood club. Cristiano Ronaldo showed he's not quite as self-centered as some may believe as he allowed Sadio Mane to take a penalty during Al Nassr's clash with Al Khalij. Ronaldo, who returned from suspension in the first leg after being sent off against Al Hilal last month, had already scored a brilliant opener of his own when his side were awarded a spot kick in the later stages of the first half. The Portuguese superstar is Al Nassr's designated penalty taker, but handed the responsibility to his teammate in an effort to boost his confidence. Ronaldo could be seen encouraging Mane in the background as he stepped up and duly tucked it away to double the home side's lead. And as we end the Global Express news, let's take a look at some of our headlines. Federal government have begun 15-day emergency fuel supply. Man shot dead during fuel queue tumult in Lagos. Federal government gave fresh condition for gas license. Federal government labor talks deadlocked as NLC defended 615,000 naira demand. In sports, Ronaldo gave penalty to Mane in Saudi Pro League. Rashford to resist Man United's transfer sale. That's it on the News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.